Today we will learn English through the inspiring life of Swami Vivekananda, a man who taught the world to believe in themselves. His powerful words, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached," will fire up your heart and improve your English as you listen. Welcome back to Mindset English, where stories teach us more than just language. They teach us life. Imagine a small town in India where a young boy was born, who would one day inspire millions across the globe with his wisdom, courage, and deeps love for humanity. This boy was Narendranath Datta, who later became famous as Swami Vivekananda, a man who changed the way the world saw India and its spiritual heritage. He was not just a monk or a religious figure. He was a thinker, a leader, and a fighter who taught us how to live with purpose, strength, and kindness. Born on January 12, 1863, in Kolkata, India, Narendra came into a family where values, discipline, and compassion were taught from the very beginning. His father, Vishwanath Datta, was a successful lawyer who believed in hard work and honesty, and his mother, Bhuvaneswari Devi, was deeply spiritual, nurturing a strong moral foundation in young Narendra. From a very young age, Narendra was special. He was a curious child, full of energy, fearless and bold, but beneath this playful and mischievous nature lay a brilliant mind and a heart full of kindness. He was not content to simply accept things as they were. He questioned everything and sought the truth in all matters. One story from his childhood shows this perfectly. Narendra and his friends often played near a large tree in their neighborhood. One day, an elder warned them not to go near it because a ghost lived there. All the children became scared and avoided the tree. Everyone except Narendra. Without fear, he climbed the tree and sat there quietly for hours. When he came down, he told everyone that there was no ghost at all. The only thing frightening them was their own fear. This moment reveals the fearless spirit of Narendra and his determination to seek truth beyond superstition. Narendra's mother was his first and most important teacher. She taught him lessons not just through words, but through example and small actions. He had a remarkable memory and could read a book once and remember every detail. His thirst for knowledge was endless. He would ask his teachers questions that were difficult to answer, such as, "Have you seen God? What is the purpose of life? Why are some people rich while others are poor?" Most teachers struggled to answer these questions, but Narendra's hunger for truth only grew stronger. When his father passed away, the family faced financial difficulties, and there were days when they did not have enough food to eat. Despite his young age, Narendra showed great maturity and love for his family. To prevent his mother and siblings from worrying, he would tell them he had already eaten even when he hadn't. This sacrifice was an early sign of his selflessness and compassion. In his search for deeper meaning, Narendra met a simple yet powerful man named Sri Ramakrishna, a spiritual teacher who lived a humble life. When Narendra asked Ramakrishna if he had seen God, Ramakrishna answered, Yes, I see God as clearly as I see you. This encounter changed Narendra's life forever. Ramakrishna became not just a teacher, but a father figure and mentor, showing Narendra that God lives in every human being and that serving humanity is the highest form of worship. From that day forward, Narendra's life began to transform in ways he could never have imagined. Ramakrishna's teachings opened his eyes to the spiritual richness inside himself and in the world. But Narendra did not stop there. He became passionate about education, believing that knowledge was the key to solving many of the world's problems. He read tirelessly about philosophy, science, history, and spirituality. It is said that he once borrowed a book from a library, finished it in a single day, and returned it early the next morning. When the librarian asked if he had truly read the entire book, Narendra confidently replied, "Ask me anything from it." He amazed everyone by answering every question correctly. Narendra's passion for learning was not for personal gain alone. He encouraged others to fill their minds with high thoughts and to always walk with their heads held high. His curiosity made him a relentless questioner. One day, when he asked Ramakrishna how to believe in God without seeing him, Ramakrishna told him to close his eyes and meditate. Though skeptical at first, Narendra did as he was told and began to experience a profound inner realization. God is not confined to temples or books, but lives in every living being. This realization shook Narendra deeply. Ramakrishna also taught him that to truly see God, one must serve the poor, the hungry, and the needy. This lesson became the foundation of Narendra's future mission. As Narendra's mind grew sharper, so did his ability to focus. Friends often wondered how he could remember everything he read so well. He shared that his secret was focus. He read with such concentration that nothing distracted him. Once, while studying, his friends were talking loudly nearby. When they asked if they disturbed him, Narendra looked up in surprise and said he didn't even hear them. This incredible ability to focus helped him later in life to overcome many challenges. Narendra's intelligence and charisma made him admired by many. One day, a wealthy woman told him he was so brilliant and handsome that she wanted to marry him. Narendra smiled and replied, "I am already married to truth and knowledge." The woman was shocked, but also inspired by his dedication to his mission. This story shows how committed Narendra was to his path. He refused to let distractions pull him away. When Ramakrishna passed away in 1886, Narendra felt lost. Yet, he soon realized that his mentor had prepared him well. Along with other disciples, he began spreading Ramakrishna's teachings. To fully dedicate himself to this cause, Narendra renounced all worldly attachments and took the name Swami Vivekananda. Life as a monk was not easy. Swami Vivekananda wandered from village to village, often without money, food, or shelter. People sometimes insulted him or turned him away, but he never lost his determination. He believed firmly that strength is life and weakness is death. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda received a historic invitation to represent India at the world's Parliament of Religions in Chicago. This was a golden opportunity to share India's spiritual wisdom with the world. But there was a problem. He had no money for the journey. Swami Vivekananda did not give up. He wrote letters to followers asking for help. Some donated money, others gave clothes and supplies. With their support, he boarded a ship bound for America. The journey was difficult. He faced racism, discrimination, and hunger, but he never complained. Instead, he focused on his mission, to help the world understand India's rich spiritual heritage. On the ship, a fellow traveler asked him why he always spoke kindly to others, even to those who insulted him. Swami Vivekananda smiled and said, "My mother taught me that a knife can either harm or help. I choose to use my words to heal, not hurt." This simple yet profound answer showed his deep wisdom and compassion. When Swami Vivekananda arrived in Chicago, he faced new challenges. Many people looked down on him because of his Indian clothes and dark skin. He struggled to find a place to stay or food to eat. Yet he did not give up. On November 11th, 1893, the hall of the world's Parliament of Religions was filled with scholars, thinkers, and spiritual leaders from all over the world. Unlike other speakers who had prepared polished speeches, Swami Vivekananda had no written notes. He only carried his faith, wisdom, and love for humanity. When his turn came, he stood in his traditional saffron robes, calm and composed. As soon as he said, "Sisters and brothers of America," something magical happened. The audience, which had been formal and serious until then, erupted in applause. The hall echoed with cheers and whistles for nearly 2 minutes. People were moved, not only by his words, but by the warmth and inclusivity with which he spoke. Swami Vivekananda did not speak to impress. He spoke to connect. He shared the essence of India's spiritual teachings and the importance of harmony among religions. He explained the idea of unity in diversity, saying that different religions are like different rivers flowing into the same ocean. He called for tolerance, reminding the audience how India had welcomed people of all faiths for centuries. He spoke against religious intolerance, warning that hatred only leads to destruction. The audience listened for over 2 hours, completely mesmerized. Many later said it felt like they were hearing a divine voice. Some were even moved to tears, inspired and humbled by his message. Swami Vivekananda's speech was only the beginning of his incredible journey. It marked the moment when the world truly began to notice him. A man who came from a small town in India but carried the wisdom of the ages. This story teaches us not only about language and history, but about courage, focus, and compassion. Swami Vivekananda's life reminds us that true strength lies in faith, knowledge, and the will to serve others. The newspapers across America had already labeled him a spiritual genius, a modern prophet, and the voice of India. From politicians to poets, professors to farmers, people from every walk of life were captivated by the calm yet commanding presence of this young Indian monk. He didn't just speak words, he awakened souls. His speech at the Parliament of Religions in Chicago had already begun shifting the world's perception of India. Until then, most Westerners saw India through a narrow lens: poverty, mysticism, and superstition. But Vivekananda shattered those shallow ideas with his intellect, clarity, and compassion. One American woman famously wrote in her diary, "If this is what Indian culture produces, then we must learn from them." His presence alone was enough to shift hearts. But his words, they had the power to not just change opinions, but to transform lives. Following the Parliament, Swami Vivekananda traveled widely across the United States. From New York to Los Angeles, Detroit to San Francisco, people flooded lecture halls just to hear him speak. His themes were universal: love, selflessness, confidence, purpose. But his delivery was so grounded, so full of conviction, that even the most skeptical audience members found themselves nodding in agreement. He told them, "Take risks in life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide." Simple yet deeply profound. Again and again, he emphasized service as the highest goal of human life. The best way to live, he would say, is to serve others. Love and service are the highest forms of worship. His fame rose quickly, but so did resistance. Not everyone was pleased with an Indian monk receiving such admiration. Some religious leaders in America grew insecure and tried to discredit him with slander and false stories. But Swami Vivekananda responded with grace. When asked about the criticism, he smiled and said, "Criticism is the price of greatness. It only makes me stronger." That calm confidence only endeared him more to those around him. One winter evening after a lecture, Swami Vivekananda was walking through a park when he noticed a poor man shivering under a tree. Without hesitation, he removed his shawl and wrapped it around the man's shoulders. "You need this more than I do," he said softly. Those who saw this act of compassion never forgot it. This was not just a man of speeches. This was a man of action. His greatness lived not just in his words, but in the small, sincere choices he made every day. Throughout his travels, he repeatedly emphasized the importance of young people. "You are the creators of your own destiny," he would often say. "Believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable." When asked by a student what advice he had for the youth, he replied firmly, "Be fearless, work hard, help others." He encouraged them to dream big, not just for themselves, but for the world. Eventually, Swami Vivekananda realized his mission in the West had served its purpose. But the work was far from over. His heart longed to return to India, not as a tired traveler, but as a man renewed with purpose. In 1897, he returned home. India welcomed him like a returning hero. Crowds gathered wherever he went, chanting his name. But he was not blinded by admiration. What he saw pained him: poverty, despair, superstition, and a dangerous loss of self-belief among his people. But he believed in the soul of India. At a public gathering, he thundered, "Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached." His voice wasn't just loud, it was electrifying. That one sentence became a battle cry for India's youth. He told them to cast off fear and rise above passivity. You are the makers of your own destiny. Stand up. Be strong. Take responsibility for your life. Education, he believed, was the foundation of national revival, but not the kind limited to reading and writing. True education, he said, is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. He dreamed of an India where every child, rich or poor, urban or rural, had the chance to discover their inner potential. His teachings were easy to remember but deep in meaning. One of his favorite messages was, "Do one thing at a time, and do it with your whole heart." He warned people not to live in the past or the future, but to immerse themselves fully in the present. In a day when you do not face any problems, you can be sure you are on the wrong path, he would say, with a smile, teaching people to see obstacles as opportunities. His thoughts on strength were clear and powerful. Strength is life, weakness is death. For him, fear was the greatest enemy, and courage the greatest virtue. He believed learning was a lifelong journey. Learn as if you were to live forever, he said. And more importantly, he lived by these words. His own life was proof of it. 1. Particularly memorable moment came during a lecture in Kolkata. A young man approached him and asked, "Swami, I want to achieve greatness, but I don't know how." Vivekananda looked at him kindly and said, "Take up one idea. Make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let every part of your body, mind, and soul be full of that idea. Leave every other idea alone. That is the way to success." That young man would later become a successful businessman and never forgot the power of that advice. Swami Vivekananda always believed spirituality was not about rituals. It was about love and service. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul, he said. He wasn't content with just preaching. He worked. During a severe drought, Swami Vivekananda spent days delivering food and water to hungry villagers. When asked why he was doing it himself, he simply replied, "Serving others is the greatest worship." People often asked him, "How do you manage to do so much?" And he would reveal his secret. Have no fear and no distractions. Be fully present in everything you do. He believed discipline and focus were more important than talent. Think deeply, but don't overthink. Worrying solves nothing. Action does. As he traveled across India, his energy never faded, though his body began to weaken. The constant work, the sleepless nights, the endless lectures, they took a toll. His health started to decline, but he refused to rest. To his disciples he said, "It is not life that matters, but the courage you bring to it. Even if I die tomorrow, my work will live on." And those words would soon become a prophecy. On July 4th, 1902, at just 39 years old, Swami Vivekananda passed away quietly in meditation. It was the same day America celebrated its independence, but in India it became a day of quiet mourning and eternal remembrance. In his final hours he was calm, at peace. He told his disciples, "I have done my work. Now it is time for me to leave. Be strong, be fearless, and serve others." Swami Vivekananda's life was short, but his light was vast, his impact eternal. His words still echo across continents. His lessons still awaken young minds and ignite hearts with purpose. He showed us how to live with courage, compassion, and unwavering belief in the power of the human soul. "All the powers in the universe are already ours," he once said. "It is we who have put our hands before our eyes and cry that it is dark. So open your eyes, awaken your spirit. Like Swami Vivekananda, believe in your power to shape the world, not through force, but through love, purpose, and selfless action." His story is not just a page from history. It is a living guide, a reminder that one life, driven by purpose, can awaken a nation and inspire the world. Thank you for watching this powerful story on Swami Vivekananda. If his words inspired you, share this with someone who needs it. Like, subscribe, and join us on Mindset English as we continue sharing the lives that change the world and teach you English that truly matters.